Alright, independent thinkers, we're back with another video. Today we're going to go over the Anti-Married. The Anti-Married. It's a book on toxic femininity. It's written by a Christian woman. I would say this is a decent, good book. Short read, less than 200 pages. I think it's a book that women should read. I wouldn't say you necessarily have to be a Catholic or religious to read it, although it's coming from a Catholic perspective. The point that the author is trying to get across is she wants to portray Mary as the poster woman, if you will, for femininity, as opposed to masculine feminism, if you see what I'm saying. So, what is Mary? What is the poster child of Mary? What does that look like? When a woman rejects the authority of man, of her husband, that God has placed above her, as we have seen, to protect women from the abuse of their own power, her refusal carries with it something of the demonic. Von Lefort says, she's quoting someone, because it brings the seduction of the self-will. A woman under the spell of her own will is unable to see clearly the will of the father or her husband or her children, resulting in the upheaval we see in our own culture, and it is particularly children who are on the chopping block and sacrificed to the will of the mother. Women have to submit to the will of God, yet the women empowerment and different things, it's making you think it's empowering and helping them when it's really doing the reverse. It's really making them, it's promoting arrogance, it's promoting disorder, it's promoting imbalance. Surrender in the right sense can only happen when a woman knows the person she is surrendering to is trustworthy, loves her unconditionally, and always does what is best for her. Mary's power is in her perfect surrender to God. Ironically, the most powerful woman in the world did very little that people would consider important. Her secret was to unite herself to God in order that she might become more while doing less. Not having a career, working a job, getting 5 degrees. One of the reasons Our Lady is widely neglected is because her type of empowerment isn't clothed in the typical garb. She isn't outspoken, assertive, or intimidating. She isn't protesting topless in the streets, and she isn't donning a pink hat to show her power and conformity to feminist fads. Her approach is much different, and it can be hard to sell in the current climate. Our Lady's virtues are the exact opposite of what the world has been promoting for decades. Few are willing to tell women to be obedient, humble, submissive, and meek, which is probably why we don't hear it very often. These virtues smack of a dormant woman, and yet these virtues, like Mary's son, are the stone the builders rejected. They are the virtues we ignore at our own peril. You probably seen that bumper sticker, quiet women seldomly make history. As we see, that's not true. Ego, that's ego. This is what being submissive and humbleness means. It's not being a doormat. It's not being ran over. It's funny because this is what the people that are rejecting religion, this is what they say. And why everyone, the women are leaving the church and turning into witchcraft and different things like that. Again, do thy will. It's like, what can I do? It's like self-ego, ego worship. Marxism and female psychology are a natural fit psychologically. What Chesler finally discovered is that women generally have a very different approach to the world. It is not hierarchical like the military, church, hierarchy, or royalty, but it is meant to be egalitarian, where all women are to remain on the same level, and those who rise above the others must be brought down into conformity, like communism before it. adherents would rather see the whole enterprise destroy itself than to see others succeed. So in this part of the book, the new matriarchy, she's explaining that women naturally want to put women back into place to make things equal. This is why there's always that infight.